UFC 214 was an incredible night of fights, but unfortunately there were three championship fight competitors who came up short in their respective title bouts. Daniel Cormier, of course, probably being the most devastated of all, losing his light heavyweight title to his biggest rival in Jon Jones. Suffers a third-round knockout loss after looking really solid through the first two rounds. For Cormier, he does have some decisions to make coming off this. At 38 years old, it's tough to say if he's going to want to try to rebuild himself in this weight class and go for the gold once again. He does have the option of moving up to heavyweight, which I think would be solid for him at this point, but for him, he runs into a roadblock there, as well as his teammate and very good friend Cain Velasquez is right in the mix for a title shot. Could be next for Stipe Miocic. So Cormier, he could fight at 205 or heavyweight. I think for him, he probably will stick at 205 for right now, and I think try to get a couple wins, see what happens there. Maybe Jon Jones leaves the division. Who knows? A lot of things can happen, but there is some fights out there that make sense. One of them being Jimmy Manuwa, who did lose to Volkan Ozdemir in the main card opener of this event. Suffers a 42-second knockout loss, but still, Manuwa and Cormier have a bit of a beef. It seemed like at one point they were going to fight at this event when they were talking about Jones potentially taking a warm-up fight. As far as Damian Maia in the co-main event, losing a very lopsided unanimous decision to Tyron Woodley. Fortunately for Maia, he worked so hard for this title shot, a 7-fight winning streak, had to take it on short notice and was unable to get the job done. But still, he said he's not going anywhere. He's 39 years old, but he said, unfortunately for the contenders in this division, I am not leaving. And I think he is still very much one of the best. He's going to give a lot of problems to anyone he faces in this weight class. And I'd really like to see a matchup with Colby Covington. Covington is on a nice little run. He is one of the rising contenders in that welterweight division, and he has talked all kinds of smack about Damian Maia coming out of this fight. He says he's going to retire him, embarrass him, all these different things. Let's give him the opportunity to back that up. As far as Tonya Evinger, another person who took a title fight on short notice, and for her, she even went out of her weight class just to get in the UFC to fight Cris Cyborg. She looked very good in terms of being tough, hanging in there, lasting longer than a lot of Cyborg's opponents over the past few years, but couldn't really have much success in there, couldn't put Cyborg in trouble at all. And for her, I think she needs to move back to her natural weight class of 135, where I think she could be very good. She'll give a lot of problems to fighters in that division, and I'd really like to see her fight a Juliana Pena, who is a contender who's hovered around a title shot in her own right, and I think that would really show where Tonya Evinger stands in this weight class. Evinger versus Pena, a good matchup, two grappling heavy fighters, and I think between them, they could have a very exciting fight. For Pena, she is coming off a loss to Valentina Shevchenko, who's fighting for the title next month. That would just be a big opportunity for her to get back in the mix.